Is Brandon Aiyuk on the move out of San Francisco? Let's talk about
Let's go.
it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dynasty After Dark. I'm your Calvin Timms, and I'm excited to be talking to you guys here in draft week. I apologize. Didn't have a video last week. Didn't realize that we didn't have one queued up for last week, but we'll be back. I got a couple leading up into the draft this upcoming good week. It's going to be a fun time. Hopefully, we'll get some news before the actual draft, but I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of trades. There's going to be a lot of offensive players, and there's going to be a live recap of that. So make sure you guys are tuning in for that and know who you're excited. You hope your team is drafting. Hit us up down in the comments down below. We're going to be dropping videos all week talking about various topics, and today's topic is going to be Brandon Aiyuk. But before we get into that, please go over to our Twitter channel. Follow us on Twitter at FF After Dark. You can find me at Calvin, Dynasty_Dale for my co-host. And if you follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Google, Rumble, Apple, wherever you're listening to the podcast, please just subscribe to the channel and leave a little comment down below. It just helps us out there. Like the video, all that fun jazz. Gets us in the algorithm, and the algorithm is our biggest challenge. So the more you guys can help us with that, the better off it is. And appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. All right, now let's jump into the topic of today. And this is going to be pretty quick. We're going to be doing a few more just randomized videos. I might be doing 2 a days. We'll see here how this week kind of goes. But we're going to have a lot of content. Today is going to be Brandon Aiyuk. Is he leaving the San Francisco 49ers? Is he going to get traded? Yes or no? This has been a talk of Twitter for the last couple of weeks. And if I had to weigh in and put my money, been doing a little bit of the gambling, the DraftKings, things like that. If I had to gamble, is he going to get traded? Let's say it's 110, even odds for both, yes or no. I am voting no. He's not going to get traded. And the reason why is they have him on a cost-controlled year. I feel bad for Brandon Aiyuk, but he's on his 5th-year option this upcoming year. It's not a super expensive for him. I think it's like 18 million, 16 million, something like that. And then next year is when they'd have to pay him. All the contracts that they do have are very, they're paying basically everybody. If you look at this year currently, the 49ers are paying Christian McCaffrey. They're paying Trent Williams. So they're paying Trent Williams, Deebo Samuel. They're still paying Eric Armstead. They are paying Darius Ward, Nick Bosa. They're paying Christian McCaffrey. They're paying Brandon Aiyuk $14 million. They're paying Fred Warner. They're paying George Kittle, on Hargrave. They are paying everybody on this team a ton of money. So they're completely locked, and they're not even paying Brock Purdy yet. Brock Purdy is going to come available for a new contract year, and they're going to have to make a decision on him as well. So next year, you go and jump into that. They're already paying a ton of money, guys. They have a lot of active contracts, which means that not a lot of cap space for the next couple of years. They're paying and all these contracts that I'm talking about, it's going to be very hard for them to generate money or to get out of these contracts without taking a major loss of their dead cap. They can always restructure some of these guys, blah, 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 the tricks you can play with some of these games. But, Trent Williams, Fred Warner, Javon Hargrave, Deebo Samuel, Nick Bosa, George Kittle, again, all these guys, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, next year they're paying Christian McCaffrey $14 million. Travarius Ward, again, they're paying him a ton of money. Trey Lance, his cap hit is pretty large as well next year. He's got a $22 million cap hit from them trading him away. Eric Armstead, like all these guys, they are just paying everybody out the nose. If you look at what their projected salary cap is for next year, they are already negative 30 million on the top 51. Again, they're going to restructure some of those guys. Some guys will be cut on the bottom ends, but they do not have the money to pay for Brandon Aiyuk. So they're already paying him this year. They're going to use his cost control year. The only reason why I'd say it's like 55-45 that they're going to trade him is because of the fact that if you can get a first round pick now, not have to pay him, you save that $14 million, and you don't have to, you get something for him before he becomes a free agent, then do it, obviously. But I don't think they're going to get a first round pick for him. And, again, cost control, 1 year of $14 million for Brandon Aiyuk. This team is in the window right now. Why would you give that up unless you're getting a massive haul, like first round pick? And again, I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to give up their first round pick for Brandon Aiyuk. So if I had to put money on it, I'm saying that Deebo Samuel is going to be a San Francisco 49er this upcoming season. But let's play a little bit of devil's advocate here. And if he were to be traded, where are the top 3 landing spots that I would predict going into 4? You look at the guys that are in the back end of the draft, who has a massive, and this is where it gets a little interesting. Obviously Jacksonville has been linked to a lot of wide receivers at 17. They've been linked to Brandon Aiyuk himself as well. I don't really see that happening because you have to trade for him and you have to pay him. The Rams, I don't see that one happening. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, is the number one trade partner I could see this happening with. They would be an ideal landing spot. They traded for, or they signed Russell Wilson, traded for Justin Fields. Either way, you have a solid, quarterback behind the center. Not the best quarterback. Depends on your opinion of these two guys. They haven't been the best last couple years, but for fantasy purposes, they're going to be able to feed somebody. And George Pickens is a good player, but Brandon Aiyuk is a different skill set, and I like him a lot with Russell Wilson. I like him a little bit more with Russell Wilson than I do with Justin Fields. I just don't know if Justin Fields has that ability to feed someone like Brandon Aiyuk for fantasy purposes. So I think that Pittsburgh is the most likely, but 20 overall, again, for Brandon Aiyuk, when you have to trade for him and pay him, it's a little bit harder to swallow there. You go down the list here. Dallas is kind of a sleeper agent. That would be very interesting. I could see them trading for Brandon Aiyuk as well. You could, if you go into the second round, that's where it gets really interesting. But, Buffalo at 28 could be a big one. Arizona at 27 is a name to watch as well. It's in division, so maybe not. But, if the Arizona Cardinals could somehow figure out a way to make that work, you get, Marvin Harrison Jr. at 4, and then you get Brandon Aiyuk. All of a sudden, Kyler's going to be cooking with gas. It's probably not going to happen just because it's in division, but man, that would be a fun one. Buffalo at 28, Detroit at 29. Either one of those would be good. Baltimore at 30, I don't think so. Then, Kansas City at 32. I just don't really see it. Carolina's at 33, New England at 34. Again, if you get into the second round, that's where it gets a lot more interesting. 37, the Chargers. So if I had to put money on the top 3 here, number 1 would definitely be the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think, again, it's a need. But again, I just don't see them wanting to pay that. And the next pick for the Steelers is 51 overall. Are you giving up 2 seconds for Brandon Aiyuk? I don't see that happening, especially when the Steelers are the gurus of drafting second-round wide receivers. So that's why I would say it's probably a 30% chance that the Steelers trade for Brandon Aiyuk. The next team here would be the Buffalo Bills, and everyone's saying, well, they can't do that. No way. They're still paying Stephon Diggs. Yeah, but if you're signing Brandon Aiyuk to an extension, right? Because if you're trading for Brandon Aiyuk, you are definitely signing him to a long-term extension. You could backload that contract, that it's not going to be an issue for the next couple of years while you're getting out from the Stephon Diggs contract. So I would not disregard Buffalo at all. I think that it's probably, if I have 30% for the Steelers, I'd probably put it 7% Buffalo Bills. I can't see this team want to invest in a rookie guy that is going to have to come up to speed. You don't even know if the rookie is going to be able to contribute long term. You always hope that your first round wide receiver can hit, but you look at the hit rate of first round receivers over the last couple of years, and it's not the greatest hit rate. So why not just bypass that completely and go get someone like Brandon Aiyuk? Again, you're paying him, but he's not really a diva type like Stephon Diggs was. Brandon Aiyuk, have you ever heard him talk in the media other than this whole contract extension? I haven't. So I think that the Buffalo Bills would be a very sneaky kind of landing spot. And then again, New England at 34, I could see this being something that they would want to do. Again, you might have to do like 34 and a third round pick, 68 to make that worth it for the Niners. Again, it's not a first round pick, so you don't get that fifth year option on these players. That's the biggest downside, but I could see New England trying to work a deal. We have no weapons, none whatsoever. We're probably going to take, Drake May or Jane Daniels at 3. Who knows who we're going to ultimately end up taking? Maybe we trade back, but I could really see that this team needs one really badly. And again, Carolina at 33. They already traded for Deontay Johnson, so it seems like a little bit of a similar skill set that I don't think that they would do that. So I'd probably put New England or the Chargers at 37 as the number 2 option there. But again, Chargers are trying to shed money right now, so I don't see them being in the let's trade for a guy and then pay him market. So if I were to couch it, I'd say number 1, Pittsburgh Steelers, probably 30%. Number 2 at 27%, we'll say the Buffalo Bills, and like maybe 15% the New England Patriots. If you guys have a different team that you could see making a move for Brandon Aiyuk, let me know. Maybe this is somebody, sleeper pick here, real sleeper, 10% chance this happens. Everyone's talking about the Indianapolis Colts trading up and getting one of these elite guys. I'd love to see them go and get Marvin Harrison Jr., just build on that legacy of him in Indianapolis. But maybe there's a history of them trading in the past. 15 overall, I think it was last time for Javon Kinlaw. So I could see them trading 15 overall for Brandon Aiyuk. It's a similar skill set to Michael Pittman, so maybe it's redundant and they don't really need it, but good wide receivers, man. Never have too many of them. So maybe the Colts can be in there as well, but yeah, I just don't really see Jacksonville. I don't really see some of these other teams that have been rumored to be in there, but yeah, I think Pittsburgh, obviously the clear favorite, clear need. Buffalo, the slight sneaky guy behind that. And then I would put, again, New England right behind them as well as the number 3 team. So again, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think he's going to get traded? I would bet no at this point in time. He's just too valuable to the Niners right now. And you can draft his replacement at 31, let him go next year. And then just all of a sudden, you're up and running. You don't get the draft pick, but it is what it is. You get to, have another chance at a Super Bowl this upcoming year. So ultimately, I don't think he gets traded, but if he does, those are my bets for who it would go to. Let me know your thoughts down below. Again, hit us up on Twitter at TDC_Calvin at FF After Dark. We love to answer all of your Dynasty questions. And if you have a rookie draft coming up after the draft this upcoming week, hit us up and we can definitely walk you through who we would be taking in the first round and in the early second, because it's going to be a jungle out there, especially after the draft. So thank you guys for joining us. Hit me up on the comments down below. Follow, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. And until next time, good night.
And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?